Good morning, victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. My name is Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Today I want to talk about sex and the cheating narcissist. Now, the infidelity, I know, is just a horribly, horribly painful situation for so many victims. If everything else, if all the other abuse, if the gaslighting, the belittling, the name-calling, if all of that was removed, the infidelity itself is really quite heartbreaking and really very difficult to deal with. So let's kind of explore that a bit and see what that's really all about. Just in so much that the narcissist is unable to make a human connection or a love bond with another human being, or even capable of seeing another human being as a human being, having a real, authentic, sort of raw, natural sexual relationship with someone is absolutely impossible for the narcissist. So what they create in their mind is almost this fantasy sex life where they believe themselves to be like all beautiful, all powerful, so desired. I mean, the most wanted person ever. Like, honestly, all Trevor had to do was take a look in the mirror to know that wasn't, the truth. But they actually create this sort of illusion that everybody wants them, everybody desires them, and they're just so special and so fantastic. Quite often this sort of sexual fantasy that they're living is really also geared as a weapon. It's a tool of, to gain power, gain control, feel special. Another thing it's often kind of geared at is hiding a masochistic or very, very deviant sort of tendency. I would say most victims that I've talked to have seen a tremendous amount of deviancy, and these sexual deviancies can include very, very frequent masturbation, chronic masturbation, pornography, and very dark, deviant pornography in many cases. They're quite often involved in incestuous relationships and are very, very frequently trying to conceal homosexual tendencies because they would see this as not being the social norm. They want to appear normal. They need to feel special, and this may feel a bit deviant to them. So many covert narcissists have bisexual or homosexual tendencies that they don't really want the world to see. Now, depending on the dimension of your relationship, I'm using the words him, he, just switch those up in your mind for her or she. Now, back to the hidden homosexuality. Now, what's actually happening there is the narcissist, a covert narcissist, is often almost asexual because sexuality does not have, or a desire for sex does not have the same meaning at all. It just doesn't have that same depth that regular normal people have. It's really just an act of gaining power. So they will quite often have homosexual tendencies, which is fine if I think in a relationship there has been transparency about that, because I do believe that as their partners, we have the right to know these things for many different reasons. I mean, one, of course, is, and this is not about homosexuality, this is just about cheating in general, they tend to be such gamblers and risk takers and believe they are just above everything. Quite frequently, narcissists will have untreated syphilis. Unfortunately, this is very, very common, and syphilis can be very hard to detect unless you're specifically looking for it. What will often cause some gender confusion in a narcissist is the fact that they are completely removed from a true, raw, natural, loving human connection as far as sexuality goes. And everyone's a victim to them. Males, females, it really doesn't matter. If they can humiliate a man as easily as a woman, this will work just fine for them. Now, where I really saw this sort of hidden bisexuality or homosexuality in Trevor was the fact that he is an excessive gay basher. He is an extreme homophobe, which was a red flag to me. And then as I became to realize who the players were in his narc harem, you could see very easily that these were extremely masculine women. I'm not knocking the way anyone looks. I'm not. And I'm certainly not in any way poking any fun at women with a lot of facial hair. But the women in Trevor's narc harem were extremely masculine. They looked a lot like him. They were very short, very squat, had a tremendous amount of facial hair, in some cases a bigger mustache than him. And I found this also to be a very serious red flag. Now, again, I am talking about a male narc, but just switch that up for female if that's what your situation is. Now, the male narcissist absolutely hates women. They really are just part of their supply chain. So they really, you combine that with a asexual sort of tendency, and everyone becomes a potential victim. And that's why bisexuality is so prevalent, because they really don't care if they're belittling, shaming, dehumanizing, depersonalizing a man or a woman, as long as that supply is being fed. And I don't have an issue with any of that. What I have an issue with is a lack of transparency and the deceit within the relationship. I do believe that in a normal relationship with another human being, that these would be issues that were openly discussed, so everybody was playing the same game and everybody understood the rules. Now, in my video, Narcissistic Rape by Deceit, we kind of touched on the fact that what we initially willingly participated in as far as sex goes was sex with a complete illusion. And this is very troubling for people. Now, truly, knowing what I know today, would I have ever had sex with Trevor? Not if I could have used Sarah Palin's body to do it. Not in a million years. That prince that I initially thought I had fallen in love with was not a prince, not even remotely a prince. In fact, he is not even a frog. I would have to say absolute swamp scum and nothing but. So I really felt that I had been gravely deceived into giving up willingly a very personal, deeply felt part of myself that I truly regret ever happened. Truly, like puke, like sick. Now, sex with a narcissist is always going to be a weapon, one way or the other. If they are having sex with you, it is to dehumanize you, to depersonalize you. What you actually are is a tool of masturbation. They are literally masturbating on you, in you. That's what they're doing. You're not even there. You are not a separate, unique human being. You are just an extension of their bizarre fantasy. Now, they're having sex with you to harm you. Now, they'll also use the elimination of sex for periods of time as a way to punish you. Quite typically, they will cut you off from sex as a form of punishment and just go get it somewhere else. Most narcissists do cheat. This is absolutely a proven fact, and if you do suspect that, I do have other videos, and I'll leave some of those video references at the end of this. But sex, either way, whether you're getting it or you aren't, it's always going to be a weapon. And I'll tell you, many people have expressed the feeling that they were nothing more than a tool of masturbation. That feeling is 100% correct. That is absolutely what you are. For many empaths and deeply feeling people, people truly connected to their emotions, feeling like you are a blow-up doll or a tool of masturbation or a dildo is really not good enough. And guys, it's not good enough. It really isn't. It is absolutely soul-crushing. It leaves a very lingering humiliation and a tremendous amount of hurt and shame. So if you're free, thank God. If you're still thinking about leaving, you know, you really need to consider that our sexuality is very much a part of how we connect to other human beings. And, you know, for you to buy into spending, you know, more time being humiliated, dehumanized, and depersonalized in this very degrading way it was absolutely not going to be acceptable for me. And I mean, I can't tell you, you know, what's going to be right for you, but I knew for me that this is not going to work for me on any level. Because a narcissist is going to use sex as a form of gaining more supply, power, control, an ability to manipulate people, to dehumanize and depersonalize them, and all this kind of strange sexual dimensions that are going on, I would very, very seriously suggest that if you are involved in a relationship with a narcissist, even if you truly believe at this point it still might be monogamous, I would absolutely get your butt down to the health clinic and just make sure that you've been tested for everything. Because the narcissist believes themselves to be so superior, they also believe themselves to be a bit bulletproof and disease resistant. I would have to strongly suggest that you at least dot that I, cross that T, and get that off your list so you don't have to worry about it, because it is actually a very, very high risk, and you don't want to be walking around, you know, with an untreated disease, or you not even knowing about it. Now, there's a lot of the abuse and things that you kind of get to walk away from, and it stops. Like, you know, the second I left, the name-calling stopped, the gaslighting stopped, the lying stopped, the cheating stopped, all of that stopped. But one of the things that kind of lingers, and I really found very soul-crushing and very difficult to deal with, was the fact that that disgusting little fiend had been just humping away like a fucking jackrabbit, masturbating on me, in me, around me, while he was fixated, you know, on the big screen TV over my head. You know, watching pornography to me was absolutely very, very upsetting, and really something I could have lived without in life, I'll tell you. So, you know, if you're starting to see this real detachment from human connection in your sexuality, and it doesn't start out that way, it really doesn't, but it drifts into that very quickly. I will tell you that this is one aspect of the abuse that really lingers, and the quicker you cut that off and get yourself safe from that, the easier you're going to recover down the road, because it is very, very shameful and very humiliating, and certainly was for me. I think that we all have the right as caring, loving empaths and, you know, kind people to be able to share ourselves and our bodies and our love and our compassion for another human being in a very natural way. We certainly deserve a whole lot more than, you know, being used as blow-up dolls and dildos and weapons. You know, sex should never be a weapon against another human being. And I'll tell you, getting free has been the best thing I've ever done. Most of the hurt started to dissipate right away. The cutoff of contact and communication really, really helped speed that up. But some of the sexual issues, because of the dehumanization and depersonalization, definitely will linger. So don't get caught off guard by this. Do expect it to be part of those stumbling blocks as you go through recovery. And I'd like to thank you guys for watching my channel today. I really appreciate all the support and all the wonderful comments and things you guys all leave, and peace be with you today.